I'm recording this video for the introduce Angular entity, the Angular Ngrx entity. How about the Ngrx and why we must using Angular entity? So the first thing I talk about a bit about why we use the Angular Ngrx. The Angular Ngrx in Angular application that when we want to use something like the state management. I think I have some video about the state management in an Angular application. So I think it's time we move to more deeper to exploring some the special and common data type that is a collection. So when we use a collection and data in a set, so I think it's more complex with a basic data type. When we want to state some basic information, we just use the store, action, reducer. I think it's enough for a basic Angular application for state management. But in the case you want to store a data that look like a list of the user in a state, so I think it's time using the Ngrx entity. So it's cost a lot of time because it is the first time I work in Ngrx entity. So now I will show demo first. Very simple demo. On the left we have a list. On the right we have a form. When you click on X item on the left, the item it should be loaded inside the form on the right, and in the form on the right we can modify the information and we say, and it should update into the left hand. Yes, let me demo it how it works. I click on the second one. I modify it one. Yes, and it now update. And in the example, I can make it more complex by you can retrieve the information from an API. Let's see the network. We can see we load almost information about user from a request, from a response while we trying to make to read the information inside that we put it inside the user.json file. Yeah, I think it is a very simple and very basic, and we can see it in many applications in real world. So now we can move to more deeper. I can explain the coding. The first thing for the UI, I need to build two panels. I use the flag, but I just want to make it so simple, so I style directly on the tag. Yes, so now we have a store that consists about action, effect, and reducer. It's a common block when we work on the Ngrx. We will more deep, more detail when we talk about Ngrx. There is a service that trying to demo how we can load data from a remote server. There are very basic model from user. We have a two field from ID and name. Both of them are string type. Router is so basic, we don't need too much engine feature. The config. Let me talking about a bit of config, but for the first time I just want to remove some type and checking. Yeah. I remove unnecessary thing. So now I can try to explaining what we need in the files. The first thing we need to use an HTTP client that may inject in the component to call the API. Maybe in this case we use it in the service instead. And for the service, user service that we want to use throughout the Angular application, we put it here. Router, and when we use the store for the Ngrx, we need to put the store in a provided store. When we install the Ngrx/store, the configuration will add it one into the app config.ts. So this is the part that we must to put it into the one to make sure that we use the store for the user in the Angular application, and reducer, yes, we can move it into the one because when we use store, we that want to specify which reducer we work. And another block is a provide effect. Provide effect that look more simple, that when we use a Ngrx/effect, it can add it one into the provider. And our job here is we add all of the effects that we use in Angular application inside it as a parameter. Okay, I think it's all problem that we need to care about the app config.ts. And so now we can starting it with the template first. In the Angular application, we care the template now. I think the router here we don't care about it one because I put it here for a common example, so we do not care about that. Inside it one we have a div that look like a container that was all the content in the component. And now we are inside the container. We have two parts, the left and the right. On the left, we have a lid. It generates the user lid into every div tag. And we have an action when we click on the div tag. When we select, and okay, I will explain how the select work later. And on the right hand, yeah, it is a form. We are using a reactive form, and we have in the form we care about two field, an ID and a name. And almost the Angular application in a real work, you should not care about the ID because it is a constant from server and client. So we almost we don't care about the property. And we have submit. Yeah, we explain about it one. Did occur when we click on the save button. So moving to deeper, we moving to app component. In the app component, when the app component we use the form group, we init the form group that when application runs, field ID, field user, that should field ID and field name that should be empty. When application run finish and we starting to buy with the data, we need to pass entry on init pass the init. The init means that load the data for the first time. And in this case, I want init should be load data from the API. And after init, the store now has a value, has a data. And when store has data, it can do something like select to the correct store and buy the data in store to the user, to the user variable. The user variable now we need to render, we need to use to render the data in the template. Did want, yes, I think it's almost behavior case when we write the actual init. And select user. When we select user, we click on each item on the left. We can select the user. Let's see the template. When we click, we can paste an user inside the select method. So now we can depart with the select user function with data is the ID of the selected user. That means why we click on the item, that the item that belong to the user, third user, has an ID is 3. So when it pass to the select user, that user ID now have a value is 3. And yet, and follow this one, we should and follow the flow of the store. Because the store now we have a variable that hold the which value or which ID is selected. We can explain it more inside let me check. Yes, we have a variable in the store that meaning we want to to hold the value for the selected ID. And on submit, we should pass an user on the form. Let's see why we yet we can, when we click it one, we can depart the form with the value, and we say we did pass an action. The action is the update user with value either an user that shown in the form. I think it's okay for the app component. So now moving to action. In the action, we also have action in it, because in it we always need something, some action, and something that happen to have an initial value. The load user now, the load user that look like we have some user or some source. Now we want to put the data in the state. That is the load user. And when we select a user, problem here is when we click, we select a user, we want to state the ID of the user we selected into a state. Then that's why we wrote the action. And the update user, previously we used it one to update an user. I think follow the structure. The structure I wrote that because I copy from here. I follow it once and follow it one. The copy exactly that. I think it's okay for action, but let's see the effect. Oh, why an component depart an action on init? Show the effect that listening with action now departing, and we see if it is an init action. It can starting something like the first thing. Now I just want to the example more simpler, so I just want to use this service to get the data, and after get data from an effect, I did patching a new action. The action I chose is a load server. I just want a load user. I just want to put a list of user into a state. I think it's almost knowledge that you care about it form. And for the reducer, I think it's basic because I have one reducer. We have init state. When we init state, we that want to say that something like we have a state with the selected user is a null now. Why we don't care about the init state for the user? Because when we use the Ngrx entity, we have I think it is the play that you can see the effect of the Ngrx entity. Because if you use the Ngrx, you should not end state here. You just have a basic state in each state now, and you can do the same thing, but when we work with the list of the user, some of built-in method can help us to make it more easy. Let's see on screen when you see the add many and update one. It is a built-in from the adapter from the entities adapter. Yet you can see it likes almost the application. When we try to work with a database, we have something like adapters that help us to put the modify from the backend to the database more easily. I think for I just care about two case I use here is add many. When you want to put a list of the user into a state, because a lot of user we want to select user ID now is new because I want when we load the user we can put the user here that we want to add many. Let's see. Adapter now care about user. That's why we put a list of user here. A state now is an out state. That is everything that happen in the state. And the selected user. That is external property that you want to work. You want to work when we use state. I think you can have a more property here to it like you have a sum and that belong you want work with the user reducer. If you have a sum model in this case, in the payment or authentication or something like you have many models that like user you can separate it into another one and you have add it the same. And I think for the simple Angular application, and I think it's enough for us. Yes, I think it's almost thing about the reducer. Yeah. Previously, I think. Do you think that yes, we pass almost things that I want to talk about problem. And one problem is so simple because we can represent it in the future. It can now make it so easy for I can make something testing or do something like when we in a big project, I can have some demo some yes. If I think about when I have one thing that need to be clarified, I need to break it small enough that it can easily apply to this symbol, so it can be checking. Yes, that's why I only make the example so simple. I want to build an example focus on things that I want to work. So now I want to work with Ngrx Entity. So the model and selected and the document now focus on this one. I think it's almost the file and almost the thing that I want to talk in this exam. It's example, yeah. I was trying to talk a complete sentence, but something happened when I was saying I was thinking something different. Yeah, because it's a coding, we have a more problem to care that is more priority than what I was saying. Yeah, I think the last thing is the JSON file. This is a list of users that I just for the API emulator calling. Yeah, I think it is enough for it. Oh, okay. I break it from the method, so I just want to commit it into the Ngrx Entity. Yes, its status is at okay. Slash m dash m minus okay, now it's almost in. They are almost the example that I want that I have. I think I'm missing edit in the future, but it's not problem because I can remember exactly that I want. When you're talking about I want a demo signal, I want the demo Ngrx, and I want the demo Ngrx entity, I want the demo Ngrx shouting. Okay, it's okay for now.